over a decade, Africa has just been like a prisoner, or better still, slave, kept under the dungeon of the West, with the shackles surrounding it which hinders it from gaining its freedom. And whoever rises up to challenge the dungeon automatically becomes an enemy to the dungeon. And this is the exact story of Africa and its leadership system controlled by the West. Hello buddy, welcome back to my channel Bright to Bias, your go-to source for in-depth global and African news and analysis. Today we're diving into a story concerning Africa and its leadership. And of course, one of the stories that has captured the attention of millions across Africa and beyond. The meteoric rise of Ibrahim Traoré, the 37-year-old military captain who became Burkina Faso's president and the world's youngest head of state. His bold leadership style, unapologetic reforms, and focus on sovereignty have sparked both admiration and debate. But what can other African leaders, particularly Nigeria's president, learn from Traoré's approach to governance? And how does his story resonate with Nigerians who are desperate for transformative leadership in a country grappling with deep struggles? Buckle up, this is going to be a deep dive. Before we continue, we would like to encourage you to send us a super thanks super sticker and join our membership group to watch all our exclusive videos right on our channel. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you will be the first to watch our videos whenever we drop them. Let's get started. To understand Ibrahim Traoré's journey, we need to set the stage. Burkina Faso, a landlocked West African nation, has faced decades of challenges. Poverty, political instability, and a growing jihadist insurgency that's displaced millions and claimed thousands of lives. By 2022, frustration was boiling over. The government, led by President Roch-Marc Kabore, was seen as failing to address the security crisis. In January of that year, a military coup ousted Kabore, and Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba took power, promising to restore stability. But just 8 months later, Damiba's regime was crumbling under the same issues: unchecked violence, corruption allegations, and a lack of progress. Enter Ibrahim Traoré, a relatively unknown 34-year-old army captain at the time. Born in 1988 in Bondakwi, a small town in Burkina Faso, Traoré grew up in modest circumstances. He studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou, where he was active in student associations, including Marxist and Muslim groups, hinting at his ideological leanings. Joining the military in 2009, he rose through the ranks, earning a reputation for courage and discipline. He fought insurgents in Burkina Faso's north and served with UN peacekeeping forces in Mali, where he was commended for bravery. But Traoré wasn't just a soldier, he was a leader who connected with his men, sharing their frustrations over poor equipment and corrupt leadership. On September 30th, 2022, Traoré led a group of junior officers in a second coup, ousting Damiba. In a televised address, he cited Damiba's failure to curb the insurgency as the reason for the takeover. At just 34, Traoré became Burkina Faso's interim president, a move that shocked the world. He was sworn in on October 21, 2022, as the head of state and supreme commander of the armed forces. But this wasn't just a power grab. Traoré positioned himself as a reformer, promising to tackle insecurity, corruption, and foreign influence head-on. Traoré's rise wasn't without controversy. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, condemned the coup, urging a return to civilian rule by July 2024. But Traoré had other plans. He rejected Western dominance, expelled French forces that had been assisting Burkina Faso's military, and forged ties with Russia and Turkey. In 2023, he attended the Russia-Africa Summit, where he criticized African leaders for what he called beggary, relying on foreign aid instead of building self-sufficient economies. His fiery rhetoric and populist style drew comparisons to Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader from the 1980s, often called Africa's Che Guevara. So, what makes Ibrahim Traoré's leadership style so unique? Let's break it down. First, he's a pragmatist with a military mindset. Unlike many politicians, Traoré leads by example. He's refused a presidential salary, opting to keep his captain's earnings, a move that resonates with ordinary Burkinabe who are tired of elite excess. He's also slashed ministers' salaries by 30% while boosting civil servants' pay by 50%, signaling that he values the working class. Second, Traoré is laser-focused on sovereignty and self-reliance. He's banned the export of unrefined gold, insisting that Burkina Faso refine its own resources to keep profits at home. In 2023, his government opened the country's first gold refinery, a major step toward economic independence. He's also invested in agriculture, launching tomato and cotton processing plants to reduce import dependency. Infrastructure is another priority. Roads are being paved, and a new airport in Ouagadougou is set to open in 2025, boosting connectivity and trade. Third, Traoré's social reforms are bold. He's tackled healthcare by deploying mobile clinics to remote areas, setting up oxygen production units, and ensuring vaccine storage with solar-powered refrigerators. These moves are critical in a country where extremism and poverty limit access to basic services. He's also promoted cultural pride, banning British-style wigs and gowns in courts in favor of traditional Burkinabe attire, a symbolic rejection of colonial legacies. But it's not all rosy. Traoré's junta has cracked down on dissent, suspending media outlets like BBC Africa and Voice of America for critical reporting. Human rights groups have accused his regime of extrajudicial killings and forced conscriptions, raising concerns about authoritarianism. Security remains a challenge. Jihadist attacks have risen, with over 6,000 fatalities in 2024 alone. Critics argue that Traoré's popularity, especially among youth, masks these issues. Yet, his supporters see him as a revolutionary fighting for Burkina Faso's soul. Now, let's shift gears to Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation and a country that shares some of Burkina Faso's challenges, but on a much larger scale. Nigeria is a paradox. A land of immense wealth with over 200 million people, vast oil reserves, and a vibrant cultural scene, yet plagued by systemic issues that have left millions desperate for change. To understand what Nigerian leaders can learn from Traoré, we first need to confront the struggles Nigerians face daily. Economically, Nigeria is a giant limping along. Despite being Africa's largest economy, over 133 million Nigerians, roughly 63% of the population, live in multidimensional poverty, according to the National Bureau of Statistics in 2022. Unemployment is rampant, with youth unemployment hovering around 53%. Many graduates roam the streets jobless, resorting to gig work or petty trading. Inflation has skyrocketed, with food prices doubling in recent years, making basics like rice and yam unaffordable for many families. Security is another nightmare. Boko Haram's insurgency in the northeast has killed over 35,000 people and displaced millions since 2009. Banditry in the northwest and kidnappings for ransom are now routine, with schools and highways becoming targets. In 2024 alone, over 7,000 Nigerians were kidnapped, according to local reports. The military, overstretched and underfunded, struggles to contain these threats, leaving citizens feeling abandoned. Corruption is perhaps Nigeria's biggest albatross. Billions of dollars in oil revenue have been siphoned off by elites, with little trickling down to the masses. The #EndSARS protests in 2020 exposed not just police brutality, but a broader frustration with governance. Politicians live in opulence, flying private jets and building mansions, while public hospitals lack drugs and schools crumble. Nigerians are tired of leaders who promise change during elections only to vanish into Abuja's air-conditioned offices. This brings us to Nigeria's current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who took office in May 2023. Tinubu campaigned on a platform of renewed hope, promising to tackle insecurity, boost the economy, and unify the country. But nearly 2 years in, many Nigerians feel disillusioned. Fuel subsidy removal led to skyrocketing prices, and the Naira's devaluation has crushed purchasing power. While Tinubu's government points to reforms like tax harmonization and infrastructure projects, critics argue these are too slow to ease the pain. Trust in leadership is at an all-time low, with many Nigerians yearning for a leader who truly understands their struggles.
Tinubu, in case you don't know, I want make you know did they come out from my mouth. Your administration, now the most failed one. President Tinubu, your government, now the most useless government. When they frustrate the poor citizens, the useless government ever in Nigeria.
Tinubu, your government is terrible. Your cabinet is terrible. Everybody for this, the whole APC, you people are completely terrible people. Since on that say we go to fear to tell on we talk them because Boko Haram go there inside bush, bandits go there inside bush, do TikTok videos. The PRO of Nigerian police to go pick them up. Somebody go there Twitter, do comments now, go pick them up. We not fit buy anything. You go there, the more you they save, the more you they even make money. If you were earning 300,000, God can even help you. They earn 500,000. No savings, nothing they work. A core member who is supposed to be earning 70,000 and see they pay 33,000 naira come out, they complain. Some useless mothers for the NYSC board begin call the girl out, say take down that video. You know go better for the woman we call her. Are you people with una see us as joke? Are we jokers to you people? We dey like joke. You go notice even this woman your pikin fit still dey suffer, but una go see somebody wey dey come out wey dey in pain, but the person should not talk. We dey suffer on Asimo no talk. Indomie wey they say 8,000, now it's almost 25,000 naira. Rice 90,000. Car no, we don't even buy car now, Not to do ritual. Nothing is working.
Nigeria don't cast. Tinubu, I know they beg you, but I tell you, say you be the worst president so far. Tinubu, you be bad person. See, take your time, like, come out for road. You go see people now, you go see people go just come meet you where they eat. They just tell me, say, brother, buy me food. People don't beg for money again for Nigeria now. They don't beg for money again. People they beg now for waiting they go fit eat. Now the level don't reach now. Everything for the country don't scatter. I been a bread, I been a gari. A basin of gari now, a basin will not be that bag. It's 17,000 to 18,000 naira. From where I'm from. Bag of rice in call. Like, now you go to beat pikin, make pikin no cry. That's what Tinubu government today. Now evil government. Now evil government. People they tell you they go beat you, they go tell you make you don't cry. When you cry, they go say they bring me the key. Tinubu na bad leader. Tinubu na like 0/100. Not nice call you. You be bad leader.
So, what can President Tinubu and other African leaders learn from Ibrahim Traoré? Let's explore 5 key lessons, starting with Nigeria. First, lead by example. Traoré's refusal to take a presidential salary and his cuts to ministers' pay send a powerful message. Leaders must sacrifice alongside their people. In Nigeria, Tinubu's administration has been criticized for bloated budgets, with billions spent on lawmakers' allowances while citizens starve. Imagine the impact if Tinubu slashed his own salary or capped political perks, redirecting funds to healthcare or youth employment. It would rebuild trust and show Nigerians that their leaders feel their pain. Second, prioritize economic sovereignty. Traoré's focus on refining Burkina Faso's gold and boosting local industries is a blueprint for Nigeria. Nigeria exports crude oil only to import refined petrol, losing billions in potential revenue. Tinubu could accelerate domestic refining. Dangote Refinery is a start, but also invest in agriculture and tech to create jobs. By reducing reliance on imports and foreign loans, Nigeria could break the cycle of debt that Traoré has called beggary. Third, tackle security head-on. Traoré reorganized Burkina Faso's military, recruited volunteers, and acquired new equipment, even if results are mixed. Nigeria's security crisis demands similar urgency. Tinubu has increased defense spending, but corruption and poor coordination undermine efforts. Community policing, better training, and addressing root causes like poverty could make a difference. Nigerians want to feel safe in their homes and schools. Traoré's resolve shows that half measures won't cut it. Fourth, empower the youth. Traoré's popularity among young Burkinabe stems from his age and relatability. He's one of them. Nigeria's youth, over 60% of the population, are its greatest asset but feel ignored. Tinubu's government could launch skills programs, tech hubs, or agricultural grants to harness their energy. The hashtag #EndSARS generation isn't just angry, they're creative and driven. Traoré's engagement with youth shows that listening to them isn't optional. It's essential. Fifth, reject elitism. Traoré's disdain for Ouagadougou's elite resonates with rural Burkinabe who feel left behind. In Nigeria, the disconnect between Abuja's politicians and ordinary citizens fuels resentment. Tinubu, a Lagos political veteran, must bridge this gap by decentralizing power, supporting rural development, and fighting corruption transparently. Nigerians want leaders who live like them, not above them. These lessons aren't just for Nigeria. Across Africa, leaders like Kenya's William Ruto, Ghana's John Mahama, or South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa face similar challenges. Youth unemployment, corruption, and foreign influence. Traoré's approach, flawed as it is, offers a roadmap. Focus on what benefits the people, not the elite. Build economies that work for locals, not multinationals. And above all, show courage in the face of tough choices, even if it means ruffling feathers. Let's circle back to Nigeria. The desperation for good leadership here is palpable. From Lagos to Kano, Nigerians share stories of dashed hopes. A market woman in Oshodi told me she can't afford to feed her children because prices keep rising. A student in Zaria said he's given up on finding a job after graduation. A driver in Abuja described dodging kidnappers on his daily route. These aren't just anecdotes, they're the reality for millions. Social media amplifies this cry. On the media platforms, Nigerians trend hashtags like #WeNeedChange and #FixNigeria, calling out leaders for inaction. The 2020 #EndSARS movement showed the world that Nigerians aren't passive. They're ready to demand accountability. But they need leaders who deliver, not just promise. Traoré's appeal, even in Nigeria, comes from his action-oriented style. When he builds a factory or expels foreign forces, Nigerians see a leader who moves, not one who stalls. Does this mean Nigeria needs a coup or a military leader like Traoré? Absolutely not. Nigeria's history with military rule, decades of oppression and looting shows that democracy, however flawed, is the better path. But democracy must deliver results. Nigerians aren't asking for perfection. They want leaders who fight for them, who wake up every day thinking about their struggles, not their own pockets. However, Ibrahim Traoré's story is still unfolding. At 37, he's a polarizing figure, a hero to some, a dictator to others. His reforms have given Burkina Faso hope, but insecurity and repression cast long shadows. Yet, his boldness, his rejection of the status quo, and his focus on the people offer lessons that resonate far beyond Ouagadougou. For Nigeria, a country teetering between potential and peril, Traoré's example is a wake-up call. President Tinubu and other African leaders must act decisively, prioritize their citizens, and rewrite the narrative of governance. That's it for today's deep dive. What do you think? Can Nigeria's leaders learn from Ibrahim Traoré? Or is his approach too risky? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that matter. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep pushing for change. Thank you for watching.